This is a True Crime in Real Time update from True Crime Today and the Hidden Killers podcast.
In a decision that has sparked widespread outrage, President Joe Biden has commuted the death sentences of 37 federal inmates, converting their punishments to life imprisonment without parole. This action, taken just weeks before the conclusion of his presidency and the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump, has drawn fierce criticism from victims' families, advocacy groups, and members of the public. The commutations include individuals convicted of some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, including child murders, mass killings, and other acts of unimaginable violence. Critics argue that this move undermines justice, dishonors the memories of the victims, and raises serious questions about Biden's judgment as he approaches the twilight of his political career. Among those spared the death penalty is Thomas Sanders, a man convicted of the brutal kidnapping and murder of a 12-year-old girl. Sanders' crime not only ended a young life, but also shattered a family, leaving scars that will never fully heal. His actions were so egregious that they drew national attention, with many calling for the harshest possible punishment. By commuting his sentence, Biden has effectively nullified the jury's decision to impose the ultimate penalty, sparking outrage among those who believe justice was already served. Another individual whose sentence was commuted is Anthony Battle, a man convicted of killing a prison guard. Battle's actions demonstrated a complete disregard for human life and authority, further highlighting the danger he posed to society. His crime, committed in a setting meant to rehabilitate or at least contain individuals who have broken the law, is a chilling reminder of the violence that can occur even in the most secure environments. By removing the possibility of execution, Biden's decision has reopened wounds for the families of the victims and those affected by his crime. The list of commuted sentences includes other names that are synonymous with terror and heartbreak. Marvin Gabrion, for example, was found guilty of the murder of Rachel Timmerman, whom he bound and drowned in a lake, leaving her infant daughter motherless. Caboni Savage, a drug kingpin, orchestrated a firebombing that killed 6 people, including 4 children, as an act of witness intimidation. These are not isolated incidents or cases of wrongful conviction. These are cold, calculated acts of violence that tore families apart and left communities reeling. Yet these individuals will now spend the rest of their lives in prison rather than face the ultimate punishment decreed by a jury of their peers. For the families of the victims, Biden's decision is a betrayal. These are families who have already endured unimaginable loss and have fought tirelessly for justice. The commutations feel like a dismissal of their pain and a disregard for the lives that were brutally taken. One father of a victim, speaking on the condition of anonymity, described the decision as an insult to the memory of my child and a slap in the face to our family. Another grieving family member questioned how someone convicted of such heinous acts could be shown mercy when they offered none to their victims. The emotional toll on these families cannot be overstated. Many have spent years attending court proceedings, reliving their trauma in the pursuit of justice. For them, the death penalty represented not only a punishment for the perpetrators, but also a form of closure, a definitive end to a chapter marked by pain and loss. Biden's decision to commute these sentences has reopened old wounds and left many feeling that their suffering has been compounded by the very system they trusted to deliver justice. Critics of the decision have also pointed to Biden's age and alleged cognitive decline as factors that may have influenced this controversial move. At 82 years old, Biden has faced increasing scrutiny over his mental fitness for office. Reports have surfaced suggesting that White House aides have taken extraordinary measures to manage his schedule and public appearances, sparking concerns about his ability to make sound decisions on matters of such gravity. Some have described his recent public performances as faltering and concerning, likening them to those of a grandfather who should be enjoying retirement rather than leading a nation. The timing of the commutations has only added fuel to the fire. Coming just weeks before President-elect Donald Trump, a vocal advocate for expanding the use of the death penalty, takes office, the decision is seen by many as a last-minute effort to cement a legacy on criminal justice reform. Trump has made no secret of his intentions to resume federal executions and has even called for the death penalty in cases involving drug dealers and other violent criminals. By commuting these sentences, Biden has effectively tied the hands of the incoming administration, setting the stage for a potential clash over capital punishment policies. The broader implications of this decision extend beyond the individuals whose sentences were commuted. It has reignited the national debate over the death penalty, a deeply polarizing issue in American society. Advocates for capital punishment argue that it serves as a deterrent to crime and a necessary tool for delivering justice in the most egregious cases. Opponents, on the other hand, cite concerns about wrongful convictions, the high costs associated with death penalty cases, and the moral questions surrounding state-sanctioned executions. Biden's commutations have also drawn criticism from advocacy groups that support victims' rights. These organizations have long argued that the death penalty is not only a form of justice, but also a way to honor the lives of the victims. By sparing the lives of those who have committed unspeakable acts, critics say Biden has sent a message that undermines the gravity of their crimes and the suffering they caused. And in contrast to the backlash, Biden's supporters argue that the decision is consistent with his longstanding opposition to the death penalty. During his 2020 presidential campaign, Biden pledged to work toward ending federal executions and incentivizing states to follow suit. His administration imposed a moratorium on federal capital punishment in 2021 to review the protocols used, effectively halting executions during his term. However, even some of his supporters acknowledge that the commutations go beyond the scope of his campaign promises, particularly given the severity of the crimes involved. The political ramifications of this decision are significant. With public opinion on the death penalty evenly split, 53% of Americans support it, according to recent polls. Biden's actions risk alienating a substantial portion of the electorate. For a president whose approval ratings have fluctuated throughout his term, this controversial move could have lasting impacts on his legacy and the Democratic Party's standing on criminal justice issues. Biden's commutations also come on the heels of other controversial acts of clemency. Earlier this month, he commuted the sentences of approximately 1,500 individuals who were released from prison and placed on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as 39 others convicted of nonviolent crimes. While these actions were praised by some as a step toward criminal justice reform, they have also been criticized as overly lenient. Adding to the controversy, Biden recently pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, for federal gun and tax charges, a move that has sparked political uproar and allegations of favoritism. The cumulative effect of these decisions has cast a shadow over Biden's final days in office. As he prepares to leave the White House, questions about his judgment, priorities, and legacy loom large. For many, the commutations of these federal death row inmates represent a tipping point, a decision that will define his presidency for better or worse. For the families of the victims, however, the focus remains on the loss they have endured and the justice they feel has been denied. As one grieving mother put it, "We trusted the system to hold these monsters accountable. Now it feels like that trust has been shattered." As the nation grapples with the implications of this decision, one thing is clear: the debate over capital punishment is far from over. Whether Biden's commutations will ultimately be seen as a step toward a more humane justice system or a grave misstep remains to be seen. For now, the controversy surrounding this decision serves as a stark reminder of the complexities and consequences of executive power in the United States.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
Where hidden killers roam, unnoticed, in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Bruschi as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is, but he lost that jury. I was I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.